I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
Welcome to the Saturday Morning Community Forum. We have so much excitement going on, so many things that we're doing. First of all, if you have a child in Chicago, either in Chicago Public Schools, any of the private schools, any of the charter schools, you ought to enroll them in the citywide track meet that's going to be held at Gately Stadium. It's called Race to Gately. Reverend Jackson envisions us deciding who's the fastest elementary school runner in the city of Chicago, male and female. Who are the fastest high school track stars, male and female? Who are the fastest in Chicago from the Park District, from your school? Who will win the Race to Gately? I know you're wondering, is your Park District involved? You need to find out if the children in your congregation are involved. You need to find out if the children on your block are participating in the Race to Gately. When will it occur? It'll be July 10th, but there are some preliminary heats, they call them, that you have to qualify to get to the Race to Gately. It will open up so many opportunities for our young people. Everybody can't play basketball, everybody can't play tennis, everybody can't play baseball. But most of us know how to run. The question is, can you race to Gately and win? Sign up now, go to thecityofchicago.org, go to cps.edu, go to your favorite park district, go to the school nearest you and register. Be a part of the Race to Gately.
After the difficult year that we've had, and with our city beginning to open back up, it's essential that we get our young people outdoors and keep them engaged as they chase after their dreams, both literally and figuratively. The Race to Gately will do just that by giving young people across our city a chance to have fun with other young people their age and to restore their sense of normalcy through an exciting sports competition.
It's very exciting to walk into this facility at Gately because we've had no indoor facility dedicated to track for young kids in the neighborhood. Track has a very illustrious history in Chicago. There's been 56 Olympians from Chicago. With this new facility at Gately, we can go back and tie in the history from Frank Lane to Jesse Owens to Ralph Metcalf to Tidy Pickett to Alexandria Anderson and just bring that full circle and have those new stars again. We're excited about the Race to Gately because it gives the neighborhood kids a chance to get on the blocks and show who's the fastest kid in the neighborhood.
I'm excited because we're finally getting track and field into the city again. I think it gives the new coaches a chance to come to an indoor facility and bring their kids so they can actually feel the track versus being in the hallway, in the alleys or the parking lots where we used to do.
The Race to Gately will get a lot of new kids excited about running track because everybody can't play basketball and football, but a lot of kids can run and they can jump and they have agility. So this facility allows those other kids to show them they have some skills they didn't even realize, and from that they can get college scholarships and develop a lifelong love of running and participating.
We want you to be a part of this magnificent event, the Chicago Track and Field Meet. I want to thank the members of the Rainbow Push Coalition, City Government, and Mayor Lightfoot in a very special way for her dedication to the proposition. You're going to give us a chance, so run on, run on, run on, run on. Keep hope alive, keep running.
Next Saturday, we are celebrating two important events. Juneteenth. I know you wonder, why do we celebrate Juneteenth? Well, when slaves were emancipated, they didn't have social media. They didn't have the kind of technology we have today, nor did slaveholders want to let the slaves know that they were free. And so even though the Emancipation Proclamation was signed on January 1st, most slaves across the country did not know that they had been set free. For example, Texas slaves did not know until June 19th, and that they began to celebrate on Juneteenth, it is called. And so we're going to talk a little bit about Juneteenth, what that means. Our keynote speaker for the day is none other than the Reverend Dr. Otis Moss III, the senior pastor of the Trinity United Church of Christ. It's going to be a powerful message. And we have one of our historians, local historians, whose father is one of the Little Rock Nine. Adam Green, Professor Adam Green, is going to talk about the meaning of Juneteenth, give you some details, give you some information that you may or may not have ever heard. And it really will help put our struggle as a people in context as we continue to learn our history, as we look at Tulsa, we look at the Red Summer, and now we're going to talk about Juneteenth next Saturday. We're going to talk about three things. One, we want to look at the family farmer. What is happening to black farmers? How will the stimulus impact them? What is this administration doing to invest in farmers in general? How are we helping black farmers? And when we go to the grocery store and we look at the fruit and vegetables section, do we ask the question, where do the peaches come from? Where do the peas come from? Are we concerned that our farmers are able to send their products to main grocery chains? And so these are some of the things we're going to be discussing. Our Southeast Regional Director, Attorney Robert Patillo, is sharing an update on the Black Farmer Initiative that we have been engaged in for a number of years at Rainbow Push.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Attorney Robert Patillo. I'm the Executive Director of the Rainbow Push Coalition Peachtree Street Project here in Atlanta, Georgia. I want to thank you guys all again for joining us for today's session on the state of black farmers in America. As many of you who are involved in the segment know, there's been very much federal legislation, but conversations and a lot of information flowing out. We do want to make sure that we get the proper information to you today. One of the questions we did get is, what are some of the regulations for if you do sign up for the conservation side of it? Does it curtail what you can grow? Does it curtail how you can use the land? What are kind of the fine print details of it?
No, so the programs, I mean, in terms of regulations, you just have to be a valid customer, a farmer, and you have to have land that is in workable use, whether you're trying to grow vegetables, produce, raise cattle, livestock, whatever the case may be. Our agency, our job is to help protect you from regulatory agency in terms of violating those regulatory agencies. We're not regulatory. All of our programs and services are voluntary. So we do offer all of our programs, you have to be in compliance with local, state, and federal regulatory. So hope I answered that question for you.
Absolutely. I did want to bring Mr. Bobby Wilson into the conversation and to do a little bit of Q&A towards the end, and also Ms. Vanetta Adib, who has a question in the chat that will give her the opportunity to ask. So Mr. Bobby, if you could unmute yourself and turn on your camera, and also Ms. Vanetta, if you could do the same, and hopefully our panelists can answer any of the questions that you have. Additionally, for the attendees, if you could drop any questions you have in the chat box, this will be the time for that, just so we can have a brief Q&A before we go to closing. So I'll turn it over to Bobby Wilson for questions.
Thank you, Robert. I want to thank all of our presenters today. Some very valuable information. I think one of the things that most of us have been focusing on is the American Care Act, and that that $5 billion that's going to pay off guaranteed loans for farmers. But I'm learning today that there's some other monies out there. So Trina and I need to have conversation and kind of pinpoint some of that other monies that's out there through farm services agents, so that we can at least inform farmers about such. So I look forward to having conversations around that. The other thing that I would mention in terms of the information that Terrence shared with us, and we found it out when we were doing work up in Cleveland, Ohio. If you get some EQIP money and you owe the federal government loans from college, taxes, or any loan, when that money hit the bank, the government gonna swipe it up, and you still obligated to do that project that they paid you to do. So you just need to keep that in mind. We're located here at 3271 Main Street in College Park, and we've worked with most of these agencies across the years. We're having a big day out here on Saturday, and we'll have informational booths set up, especially as it relates to NRCS. They'll have a table out here. You'll be able to do farm tours. You'll be able to get your COVID-19 shot. You'll be able to get free food. You'll be able to get cooking demonstrations and a lot of other things, free seeds, free transplants, and other things. So we invite you out here Saturday to be with us.
I'm turning over to Ms. Bonetta because you had two questions in the chat that I want to give you an opportunity to ask to the panelists, and anyone on the panel, feel free to chime in. Ms. Bonetta?
Yes, thank you. So the first speaker that spoke talked about that debt forgiveness, and that's what gets us up in the morning. And so the whole concept that we can have debt forgiveness. But then there's two other questions related to that. We had heard from Dr. Goldman that there would be additional debt forgiveness for loans that are not the FSA loans or the loans that are guaranteed by your office. And so that was kind of alarming, because we were really hoping that there would be a process by which other loans, bank loans or other loans, could be forgiven. So if somebody could address that. And also, I know I sound like a broken record, but labor is one of the major costs that's affecting small growers, particularly a lot of the growers in my group. We're up to 80 growers now, Robert and Bobby, in our group now, and they're coming with all kinds of challenges, but the cost of labor is really important, especially for a lot of growers, Black growers that are returning to farming. And so they're in, a lot of them are retired from other careers and they want to make that farm work. So if you could address those two issues, that would be really interesting or important.
All right, the floor is open for any of our panelists to address either the question on labor or on debt forgiveness for any additional loans. So feel free to chime in if you do have information on that.
If you're a farmer, the first thing that you need to do is to go and get a farm track number.
Yes.
When you get a farm track number, that's going to open up all the doors for all these different programs that the government has to offer to you. So with that said, I turn it over to one of the presenters.
Well, Mr. Bobby, Mr. Leonard,
yes,
so you want to chime in?
Yeah, I chime in on what Mr. Wilson just said, and I think he was 100% correct. I was there Saturday morning, right along with Mr. Robert Tyson, who was our farm loan chief. He was there as well. And as Mr. Wilson just said, that sounds 100% correct. That, Congress approved it where they will pay off FSA loans, including farm storage facility loans and guaranteed loans. Other loans outside of that, Congress has not approved funds for that. Only I would say those loans that we have authority over, which are, those that we have authority over is the direct loans, and then working with the guaranteed loans. And as Mr. Wilson said, letters are going out. As I mentioned a little earlier, through this week on into June, letters will be going out, and if they agree with the letter, they are to sign and return those letters back to the county office. Once those letters are turned back to the county offices, then they will see about processing and paying off the debt. And as where I understand it, that the amount that the debt that they owe will be paid off, and then the borrower are to receive the 20% that is used to go toward taxes. I do recall the secretary saying that there are other programs that are to come forth. Now, he did not say those other programs will be paying off other bank loans, but other programs to address needs that socially disadvantaged producers very well may be assisted in other ways other than paying off another bank's lending institution loan for those producers. So yes, Mr. Wilson, I agree with what you said, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah.
And like you said, a track number, you did mention about the track number, but it's a farm serial number that they need to come in and get.
In the last 10 minutes again, I do want to give all of our panelists an opportunity to give in closing remarks, and also give out any additional information or resources that you believe is necessary for people to have, so things such as websites, social media, email address, phone numbers, those sorts of things, and any closing statements from your particular agency or anything that you did not mention earlier. And we'll start with Mr. Taylor, then Mr. Leonard, then Mr. Rudolph, and then we'll be able to close out the session. So Mr. Taylor, we'll start with you for closing statements.
Thanks, Robert, for that. Really appreciate having the time to talk and share this morning. It's been very insightful. USDA rural development, we're pretty much, like I said earlier, the Swiss knife for USDA. Our main focus is, of course, housing and community development activities, broadband, and then water and waste treatment. We also do community facilities. We work with a lot of communities in that regard, and that's kind of where we are. I am very happy to say that we do have the two producer type grants, value add grant and the REAP grants that we offer to your producers in the community. So if you guys are interested in working with USDA on housing or water sewer issues or community facilities, please reach out to us. Again, you could just give me a call, or you can take a look at our website at usda.gov. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Leonard?
My closing remarks would be to give a little contact information with Farm Service Agency. Our acting state executive director is Ms. Diane Westmoreland. Our farm loan chief is Robert Tyson, and our farm program chief is Brett Martin. You can contact them. I suggest that you call the front office at the Athens State Office. That number is 706-546-2266 at the state office. My number, Neil Leonard, my number is 706-546-2207. I haven't been in Athens in over a year, primarily because of COVID-19, and about to forget my telephone number there, but haven't been there in a while. But most of the time right now, if you're gonna reach out to me, email me. That is the best thing. That's neil.leonard@usda.gov. I'm talking to many beginning and farmer and ranchers every day. Reach out to me. I'm trying to just point them in the right direction as far as them gaining information that they need. And I would definitely want to say again to visit farmers.gov. That website has just as much information as we as FSA or USDA employees have access to. That they have a number, again, of educational items, links, webinars, different toolkits that's available on farmers.gov. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leonard. It's been absolutely outstanding having you. Mr. Rudolph?
Yes, I would like to echo farmers.gov that Mr. Leonard talked about. That is very critical, very, very important site. Please utilize that. I mean, it will help you get from A to Z as easy and as simple as you may not believe. We are here to help. So don't be afraid to go down to those local offices to request help. If you're not getting the help that you need, then definitely go on to the state website and try to get in touch with those various state directors in your appropriate state. And if you are a farmer from Georgia, and if you're not able to get any assistance from my office, and please call me directly. That number is 706-546-2279. And my email address is terrence.rudolph@usda.gov. And we would definitely get you taken care of. Thank you.
I would like to thank all of you so much for joining us today, and thank all of the attendees for being available for this conversation. For those of you who did not get your questions answered, please feel free to email myself or Trina Heasington, and we'll make sure to get answers down the line from our panelists, and we'll make all that information available. You will be getting a follow-up email for the next scheduled webinar in this series that we have been doing. If we do encourage all of you to join the Rainbow Push Coalition, you can do so at rainbowpush.org. By strengthening this committee, it allows us to be able to bring in more decision makers to connect with even more resources. So the stronger that this group is, the more resources we're able to garner for you, particularly as individuals. And as Reverend Jackson would say to end each of these sessions, we'll make sure that you keep hope alive. Thank you guys so much for joining us today, and have a wonderful remainder of your day.
Hi, this is Hannah, and I'm coming to you live from Rainbow Push Coalition. We just wanted to let you all know that we are proud of our 2020-2021 graduates. And to celebrate you all, we want you to send your name, your picture, and your future school to kkale@rainbowpush.org. Again, that email is kkale@rainbowpush.org. We even have a special guest. You know him. He's none other than Reverend Reginald Sharp Jr. He will be our commencement speaker for our graduates. He's going to inspire and uplift and tell our graduates, keep moving forward, keep on pushing. He will be doing all of this on June 26th. You don't want to miss this. Go to your Google Play and your App Store and download the Rainbow Push Coalition app. We will be in our annual Rainbow Push Coalition International Convention. It is going to be July 17th through July 21st. It's virtual. Why not join? And we are going to have a great time. It is going to be amazing. We need you to register. And that means registering on our website. And that website is www.rainbowpush.org. Next weekend, it is Juneteenth. And it's also Father's Day. It's Father's Day. We want to show the men in our lives that we appreciate you. We thank you, we love you, and we have not forgotten about you. And so we need you to tune in to our virtual space and listen to our special guest. He's none other than Reverend Otis Moss III. He is going to be with us. He is going to be with us, and he is going full force. So we need you to tune in. Don't forget, mark your calendars for June 19th. Follow us on social media, and we have Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of it. We have all of it. And we need you to hit us up, let us know how you're feeling, give us those likes, those shares, all of that good stuff. Because pushing for you is what we do.
We want to celebrate young people. Anybody that's graduating from kindergarten, 8th grade, high school, college, graduate school, we want to acknowledge you on our broadcast. Send us your picture. Tell us what school you're graduating from and your photo. Please send us a picture. We're celebrating graduates in the month of June. You have from now to June 15th. Get your picture in, get the information in so that you can be on our broadcast. We're going to do something really special for the 2021 graduating class. It's been a difficult year. It's been difficult for many of you, but this is going to be an exciting moment.
Push Excel's goal is to inspire students to strive for excellence in education in spite of personal, family, and community challenges that they might experience. How do we do this? By advocating for educational policies that guarantee equal funding for all students without regard to race or economic standing. By engaging parents, students, and teachers in pursuing high-quality education and striving for educational excellence at every level. And by forging partnerships with community-based and public sector stakeholders in education. Now, Push Excel is a national model program with the purpose of connecting principals, parents, popular personalities, and students in a bond and to support students at every level on the educational ladder. Now, we want you to become a member of the Rainbow Push Coalition and Push Excel. Your annual membership can help us to change policies that impact students, colleges, and universities all around the country. So step up and sign up today. Membership is only $35, and if you're a student or a senior, $15. Just go to our website, rainbowpush.org, and push join to become a member or push donate to support the Push Excel program. You can also text the word Push Excel, that's PUSHEXCEL, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give us any amount that you feel comfortable giving or call us at 773-256-2775. Wherever you are, you can support us as we keep pushing for you. And remember to keep hope alive.
Now, you have been watching, if you watch the news or if you're on Facebook, you've heard a lot about voter suppression, states across the country trying to pass legislation in this closing of their legislative sessions that would limit and restrict the ability of voters in states across the country, black voters in particular, limiting voting, restricting Sunday voting, restricting or eliminating opportunities for mail-in balloting, all sorts of tools and tactics that have been used across the years to reduce, frustrate voters of color, particularly African American voters. Well, to give us an update on the John Lewis Voting Rights Bill, H.R. 1, and other legislation and activities is what I call the voting rights advocate superstar, none other than attorney Barbara Unwine.
Hi, Rainbow Push family. What an honor it is to talk to you today about what's going on with voting rights. You've been hearing a lot. You saw all the national news. That's all they've been talking about since this weekend, because on this weekend, Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia announced that he is not going to vote in favor of the For the People Act. Well, you said, what does that mean? And I'm going to tell you what it means. Also, you heard the head of the GOP in the Senate, that is Senator Mitch McConnell, who used to be the majority leader, but thank God he no longer is because of his bad policies on voting rights, announced that he is opposed to the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. And you said, wait a minute, there's two of them. Yes, there are two major pieces of legislation addressing voting. And what does it mean that we have this going on? So I want to just bring you up to date and to explain what these two different bills are and why. Now, as you know, in 2020, we had COVID, we had a pandemic. We still do, but we had a pandemic that affected the electoral process throughout the nation during the presidential elections and the primaries, and of course in Georgia for the Senate runoffs. But what happened was a shock to everybody. Because we fought for voter options, that meant we fought to have, vote by mail. We fought for, broader absentee balloting. We fought to make sure that there were drop boxes. We fought to expand, where polling sites were located. We fought for drive-in voting. We fought for so many ways to encourage and to facilitate people's ability to vote during this pandemic. And as you know, a lot of people took their lives in their hands and they voted in person. Well, the shock is everyone thought that meant that the voter participation would be greatly reduced. But instead of it being reduced, 17 more million people, that's 17 million more people voted in 2020 than voted in 2016. Why did that happen? Because it turns out that voters love it when you make it easier for them to vote. And that's what we did. And remember that groups like RPC, the Rainbow Push Coalition, and Transformative Justice Coalition, which I head up, and so many other organizations took on it as our personal responsibility to outreach to voters and to educate them. And we did it well. The states didn't do it. Let me be clear, around this country, a lot of states did nothing and did not help voters. But we, the groups on the ground, even though we couldn't have mass meetings, even though we had to work virtually and knowing that a lot of our people are not on the internet and don't have access to Zoom, etc., we still made it happen through telephone, through writing, through mailing, and people got educated and they participated in numbers unprecedented. Think about this. In Philadelphia, 93% of all Black voters are registered for 2020. Think about this. During the Senate runoffs in Georgia, 93%, that's right, that 93% number of all Blacks in Atlanta voted. So these are the kind of unprecedented participation that we celebrate. But guess what? A whole lot of folks hated it. They got upset because look at the consequences of it. The consequences of it was that in Georgia, you had 2 new senators, one Black, one Jewish, and folks didn't like that. Instead of those conservatives that had been elected before. In Georgia, you saw the state switch political alignments from red to blue. You saw in Arizona, the same thing. You saw, in Pennsylvania, you saw all of these consequences of political, transformation because of all the voting that happened. And instead of embracing it and saying, isn't this wonderful that our democracy is working, that people are turning out, they said, no, we're gonna stop it. We're going to use every single piece of voter suppression methodology that we can to stop it. So around the country, this year in 2020, we have 48 states in which 369 pieces of voter suppression legislation has been introduced. 22 pieces of legislation has passed in several states, over 12 states. And we still have actively moving a lot of legislation in several more states. So, and what are they doing? You said, Barbara, what does this legislation mean? This is bills and acts that will regulate how you vote. And guess what they're doing? They're cutting early voting. They're eliminating souls to the polls voting on Sundays. What else are they doing? They are getting rid of vote by mail, absentee balloting. They're making it either harder to do so or getting rid of it. What else are they doing? They're reducing polling sites so that there are less places to vote. What else are they doing? They're getting rid of, eliminating drop boxes, prohibiting drop boxes, or saying you can only have one per county, or saying you can only have them during working hours. What's the purpose of a drop box? Is for people to be able to put their ballots in after they worked, after during weekends, and times of their convenience. So they're purposefully doing this, and they're prohibiting automatic voter registration. They're prohibiting all of these things and requiring strict voter ID. But what are they allowing? Think about this. They're allowing challengers to come to the polls who are from out of state, out of county, never met you, and say that you're not a legally registered voter. What else are they doing? In Oklahoma, they actually have the nerve. I mean, this is bad. They actually have the nerve to have a bill that says that if you are registered, that they're going to wipe the entire voter registration list clean, that no one in Oklahoma will be registered, that every single voter, including the governor, everyone will have to re-register. Why are they doing that? To destroy our democracy. Why? What else are they doing? They're also saying in Georgia and in Florida and in Texas that if you help people in line who have been standing in line waiting for 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 hours, not because of anything they did wrong, because the counties in the state didn't provide enough voting places, and that they're now standing in line forever, that you can't give them food or water. That's how bad this is. So, and I just went through a few of them. There's so many others, like they're cutting voter education, making it hard for local county boards to educate voters. They're taking over boards of elections and putting who they want into those spots. There's so much wrong, so much evil that's happening with this wave of voter suppression. So our answer to that wave has been these 2 amazing bills. I call them bookends on the library shelf. Think about, a bookcase. Think about the bookcase having all your rights to vote, all your rights to, polling place, to be registered, to have your ballot counted, all of your rights on that bookshelf. And then you got the bookends to make sure your rights, that the books don't fall off the shelf. And one is HR 1, S1, and it's called the For the People Act. And the For the People Act does something so needed. It says that every single state in the union, when it has a federal election, has to follow the same rules and regulations, that they got to have 2 weeks of mandatory voter early voting. They have to not have strict, onerous voter ID. They have to allow for automatic voter registration. They have to allow for same-day voter registration. They have to allow people who are formerly incarcerated and are out of jail, meaning they've served their time, they must automatically restore them to the voter registration rules list. Guess what that means? That means over 6 million people will be able to vote without having to worry about being thrown in jail because they were confused about their rights, or worry about the fact that they may be turned away when they get to the polls, who have the worry, am I on probation? Am I off of parole? Am I under supervision or not? It just takes away all those problems, right? And it does so many other good things that encourages voters, making sure that nobody has to wait in line for more than 30 minutes. Think about that. All these good things that this bill does. And it means that if you're in Maine, if you're in Chicago, if you're in Wisconsin, if you're in California, if you're in Colorado, if you're in Oregon, if you're in Florida, if you're in Georgia, if you're in Texas, you have the same identical rights at the minimum. The only things the state can do is do more, do better. They can't do less. So that's the beauty of S1, and that's the beauty of the For the People Act. The second one, on the other end of the bookcase, is what we call HR 4, the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. Now, these two bills have one thing in common: John Lewis. Most people don't know that John Lewis wrote the first 300 pages of what's called the For the People Act. So when you hear me talking about all those rights that would be uniform, that's what he envisioned. That's what he knew the voters in this country needed. HR 4 is something altogether different, because what HR 4 does is it says that any state with a history of discrimination in voting, or states are just required to not discriminate in voting, so that any new proposed rule, practice, or procedure for voting, it has to be pre-cleared, meaning it has to be reviewed and approved by either the Department of Justice or by the district court in Washington, D.C., the federal district court. So what does that mean? That means that pre-clearance, as we call it, stops before it even can become law, before it can even become, let's say, implemented as law, any bad laws. So, at any discriminatory, racially discriminatory laws. So if you say, for example, that as they did in Georgia a couple of years ago, that only certain counties were going to be prohibited from keeping their polling places open past 7 o'clock. All those counties that they were prohibiting were Black. And guess what? In Cobb County in Georgia, they had the nerve to close out of their 9 polling places. They closed 5 of them, or every single one of them was either in a Black community or in a Latino community. So, either brown or Black, those were the only ones they cut. That's what you would go to court and challenge under the Voting Rights Act. And that's where, if they put such a proposal, before they could even do that, they would have to get that pre-cleared and approved, which meant it would never be approved. And that's why you need the HR 4. One act sets standards. The other act catches bad criminal efforts to steal the vote. It's criminal to block the vote. It's criminal to try to steal the vote. So that's the beauty of HR 4. So you need both. You need standards that people can rely on, and you need to be able to stop bad racially discriminatory laws. So that's the beauty of the bookshelf, 2 bookends. Well, they're under attack. So what do? You're saying, well, didn't McConnell said he's not supporting either one? That's correct. The Republicans, too many of them, have decided to dig in their heels and support voter suppression, because they don't want a real democracy where people of color, women, and young people are participating freely. They don't want that. They want what they said, a shrunken, small electorate. And that's what they're trying to achieve. They want to throw us off, too many of us, off the voting list. And you're saying, wow, Is this true? Of course it's true. I wouldn't say it otherwise, but I do want to say to all of you, the good news is that in your hands is power. You can right now make yourself heard and make a difference in this fight. Call your senators, your U.S. senators at 202-224-3121. That's 202-224-3121. And just say that you want to talk to your senator, and they're going to ask you what state you're from. And they're just going to send you straight over to your senator's office. And so you don't even have to worry about, oh, do I know their names? Do I remember it correctly? You can just call the switchboard and they're going to put you straight through. And I want everyone listening, do that, because in the next couple of days, think about this. We are sitting on the 58th anniversary of Fannie Lou Hamer's being jailed and beaten within an inch of her life for trying to register Black voters. Remember, it's a brutal and ugly story, but they beat her so bad that it caused permanent liver damage, caused clots to her brain, clots over her eyes, blood clots, caused all kinds of illness that would affect her all her life. And it's no accident that she died before she even saw the age of 60 from all of this maltreatment. So we're saying to all of you right now, wherever you are, in honor of Fannie Lou, because they beat her and kept her in jail for 4 days. And it was from June the 9th through June the 12th. In her honor, let's make these calls. In her honor, after the 12th is passed, let's make these calls. In honor of everybody who's fought for our rights, but in honor of your children, your grandchildren, the future, for yourself, we deserve a better government. We deserve a government that looks like the people who constitute this nation. We deserve a better situation. So let's do this, people. Let's say to our senators, when we call them, vote yes for S1, for the People Act. Vote yes for HR 4. And when you call on HR 4, you should call your Congress people too, because that bill has yet to be introduced. They're already, laying in wait to kill it with their knives unsheathed, but we're not going to have it. We're going to do the work that we have to do. So also, ask for your Congress people, and they're going to tell you, what's your zip code, and you're going to give it to a switchboard, same switchboard, 202-224-3121, same switchboard. And they're going to ask you what your zip code is, and then they're going to send you automatically over to your congressperson. So don't worry about if you don't remember their name. And you're going to tell them, move HR 4. And vote yes for the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, and continue to push everybody to vote yes for the People Act. So that's what we can do. That's who we are. But we're going to be in the streets. We're going to be doing so many things to make sure that these acts become law, because it's our generations. And I said generations. It's our obligation to stand in the breach. It's our obligation to fight for voting rights right now, today, not tomorrow, right now, today, and every single day until these two bills become law. And as I leave you, also support the DC Emissions Act. It's called S51. Let's make DC a state. Let's make sure that 712,000 people aren't denied a senator, a voting member of Congress. Think about it. There are more people living in the District of Columbia than there are living in 2 other states that have senators and Congress people. So don't get confused. Don't think about that there's somehow some kind of far-reaching, crazy idea. Vermont has less population. So does other, states. So I'm just saying to you, let's fight for justice. As your leader and wonderful visionary, the amazing Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr. would tell you, it's time for voter justice. You can make it happen. Thank you so much.
Now, we have several ways for you to get involved with PUSH today. First of all, you can become a member. That's very simple. You can go to rainbowpush.org and you can pay $35 if you're under age 65 and not a student, or you can pay $15 if you're a senior or a student and become a paid member of the Rainbow Push Coalition. Membership matters. And then the second thing, if you know of a student who's in high school, 9th through the 12th grade, they should be a part of our virtual college tours. This year, because of COVID-19, we're having virtual tours. We're going to some 8 historic Black colleges, but we're going to other colleges. Have them register for the virtual college tour. That way they can begin to decide early on where they might want to go to college, what college offers for them. The third thing you can do is, if you know a student who will graduate from 8th grade, 12th grade, college, community college, or graduate school, have them send their photo and a 2-line, 2-sentence bio, which says the school they're graduating from, the year, the grade they're graduating from, so that we can pay tribute to them in our baccalaureate service on June the 27th. That's like a graduation program. We have a graduation program to celebrate students that you know. Have them send a photo, 2-line bio. We want to salute them June 27th. Right now, you can register for the Rainbow Push Convention. It's virtual. All you have to do is register. You're going to get so much information. You're going to get so many connections that you normally would not have. You're going to be ready to join us when we leave the convention. We're going to be taking some aggressive actions to end voter suppression. We're going to deal with housing. We're going to deal with education, educational equity. We're going to deal with opportunities for jobs and contracts. You don't want to miss this year's convention. Register now. Go to rainbowpush.org. It's only $35. Everybody can be in. Everybody can serve. It's something that you can do.
For 2021, we're excited to get more people engaged and involved in Rainbow Push, supporting the programs of Push for Excellence and the Citizenship Education Fund. Now, if you're interested in public policy and you want to help change the policies that impact those who are incarcerated, you can do so. If you're interested in impacting public policies that benefit education and businesses with social economic solutions, you can do that as well. You can become a policymaker by becoming a member of Rainbow Push right now. Now, if you believe in the scholarships that we've given to thousands of students each year, you can help us out. We've awarded more than $10 million in scholarships year to date. Now, you can help young people achieve a higher education by becoming a member of Rainbow Push right now for the annual fee of only $35. And if you're a student or a senior, it's only $15. You can help us make a difference in the lives of millions. Now, if you watch us every week, or if you listen to us on the radio, or if you're viewing on social media, we need you to become a member. And how do you become a member? It's simple. Visit us at rainbowpush.org and press join. Maybe you'd like to support the work of Push. If so, it's really simple. You can do so by texting the word PUSH, that's P-U-S-H, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give any amount that you feel comfortable giving, or you can call us at 773-256-2775 or go to rainbowpush.org and push donate. So whenever you want to support, you can do it from anywhere. So keep pushing, because we're going to keep pushing for you and keep hope alive.
came out with the jail with a group of 7 students, July 17, 1960, almost 60 years ago. We never stopped moving. I lost a few of jail cells and death. We never stopped moving. I thought it was time to write some of it down so the older generation can learn how we did and what we did and how global it was. It was speaking about Mandela in South Africa, India, Qatar, about Gandhi in India, here at home. This book tells the story, so please get it and give it to your friends. Read it, let's argue about it, let's discuss it.
Yep, so the book is Keeping Hope Alive, Sermons and Speeches of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. It's quite a good collection. You know, we've got sermons and speeches from around the globe because you have made such a global impact, not just here in the US, but around the world.
Thank you for tuning in to our International Saturday morning broadcast. We need your support. Here are ways to give to Rainbow Push Coalition. Text PUSH, P-U-S-H, to 41444 to support the work of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. and Rainbow Push Coalition. When you shop, Amazon gives. Visit Amazon Smile and select Push for Excellence as your charitable organization by starting your shopping at smile.amazon.com.
We are Sanctuary. We are a sanctuary.
When I think of Rainbow Push, I think of 2 words: social justice,
education advocacy,
political empowerment,
freedom and equality,
corporate partnership.
Stop the violence. Save the children. Don't get it. Shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down.
Political change,
inclusion, evolution, progress, justice.
Jesse Jackson.
Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
We want to be bridges to end these cultural gaps.
We're going forward. By hope. Not backwards. By fear.